Hello and welcome. In the last lesson, we spoke about several summary functions such as max, min, count A, count, and count blank. In this lesson, let's talk about the COUNTIFS function. The COUNTIFS function counts the number of cells in a range that meet certain criteria. For example, in this analysis, we need to count the number of sales representatives by region. So basically, we need to count how many cells in this region contain the value north, how many contain the value south, and so on. We can do this using the COUNTIFS function as follows. Equal to COUNTIFS. Now the first argument is the range of cells to be counted. So here we need to enter the range E5 to E98. The second argument is the criteria. If this argument is north, then Excel will count how many cells in the range E5 to E98 contain the value north. Therefore, we can provide the cell M15 as the second argument. So there are 19 cells in the range E5 to E98 which contain the value north. Now I can copy this formula and paste it in the cells below to estimate the number of sales reps by region. Notice the use of absolute and relative cell references in this formula. When we paste this formula below, the criteria range E5 to E98 needs to remain fixed. Therefore, we have used absolute references, and the criteria M15 needs to update when the formula is pasted below. Therefore, we have used relative references here. So that's how you can use the COUNTIFS formula to count cells in a region that satisfy certain criteria. Now the beauty of the COUNTIFS function is that you can use it for more than one criteria. For example, in this analysis, we need to count the number of sales reps in each region who have achieved a target attainment of more than 100%. So this means that while counting, two criteria must be satisfied. First, the sales rep must belong to the specified region, and second, the sales rep must have achieved a target attainment of more than 100%. Let's see how we can do this using the COUNTIFS function. We can write equal to COUNTIFS, followed by the first criteria range, which is the range containing the region names, so E5 to E98. And again, we use absolute references. The next argument is the first criteria, which in this case is cell M23. This part is just like the previous example. Now the next argument is the second criteria range, which in this case should be the range containing the target attainments, so H5 to H98. And the next argument is the second criteria, which should be greater than 100%. Once again, let's pause and look at this formula. We have entered equal to COUNTIFS followed by the first criteria range, which is the range containing the region names, followed by the first criteria. Next is the second criteria range, which is the range containing all the target attainments. And finally, we have the second criteria, which is greater than 100%. If you press enter, you get the output as 4. This means that there are 4 representatives in the north region who have a target attainment of over 100%. Once again, I can copy the formula and paste it in the other cells. An important point to note is that if you're using multiple criteria, then all the criteria ranges should be of the same size. For example, in this case, the first criteria range is E5 to E98, and the second criteria range, H5 to H98, matches perfectly with the first criteria range. They have the same number of rows and the same number of columns. This is very important for the COUNTIFS function to operate properly. So that's it for this video. In the next lesson, we will learn about other summary functions such as averageifs and sumifs. So see you next time, and as always, thanks for watching.